Yeah, I give up. I'll just do it from here. Okay. This camera is actually not so bad, but once again, dealing with a wireless connection, and that was the topic of conversation. So to spare everybody who was in the first two videos, I was trying to use my camera, which is very high speed, very, very high definition camera, and what it causes to do, even on a wired connection, is for my video to freeze sometimes. It doesn't act like that when I'm teaching classes that much. It acts just a little up, but you guys are liking the old videos. I'm getting ready to delete them because well, I don't know, this is the new one, maybe not. Okay, let me close that window then, because I don't want to hear myself talk, right? So the situation is when you are scheduling a class with me, you should read all of the instructions. If Zoom is required or something else is required, in order for you to attend class, that should be downloaded and it should be tested prior to coming to the class. Because what happens is, especially with phones like what I'm on now, or high definition cameras, things tend to freeze. And so I had a student tonight that kept coming in and out of class at the most important part, and I got really irritated because the person was outside, the person was on the phone, the person was in their car. When you're taking a class, make sure that you're in a place with a very good internet connection. Like I said, I've started teaching classes from my phone and from my tablet simply because my camera works way too fast, as demonstrated in the first two videos that I had to delete. And it will freeze. Especially Facebook is horrible with this camera, which is why I bought it, for teaching and for Facebook Lives. Go figure. So I'm investing in a new router. When you are booking a divination or a mentoring session, read all the instructions. I tell people this, you know, if we have a miscommunication or something, or somebody doesn't understand something and doesn't do something right, I say, in order to be my student, you have to read. And I have a lot of text on my website, but it's for a purpose. Because I have a little widget where you can see my schedule and see if your space is open. But the instructions clearly say, purchase the divination or the mentoring session, give me that, before you actually, no baby, I know where the books go, I'll put them away. Before, read all of the information, have the software downloaded, let me know how you want to be contacted, phone or video conference. All my classes are video conferences. I don't record them because people bootleg. And be in a place where it's quiet and your kids ain't screaming. I can't tell you how many times I've had to tell other people's kids to shut up while I'm trying to teach. Those types of things are not good for learning. Another thing that I've been talking to people about is, they say you can't learn how to be a witch from a book. Well, you can't be a witch if you can't read. And you know, I was talking before about like going and stopping on page 1 of Google. Anytime you want to know something magically, you're going to have to consult a number of sources, be them books, electronic, people, otherwise. Everybody's going to have a different way of doing things. Everybody's going to have a different opinion, and some people are on some straight up bullshit. The only way for you to know that is for you to do your own research. And so I'm not till you get to page 3 or 4 of Google, you know, and you can go in and Google hoodoo and you can see exactly who comes up. And that's because that person is very familiar with SEO and all of those different things that, yeah, I'm going to have to start paying attention to if I want people to see me come up higher in the rankings when you are clicking and typing the word hoodoo. And it's important, you know, as everywhere we have to be represented, so we have to figure out the different ways. Back in the old days, workers didn't have websites. You know, it was very disconcerting to me when I first started practicing, because when I first started practicing, most of my clients were local, and I read in person, and, you know, this whole web thing and social media. I just, in the last year or two, got on Instagram real tough, because, you know, if you've ever seen the movie Skeleton Key, that's usually how it goes. You go to somebody's house or in the back room of a bar, a laundromat, even a church, and get what you need for your magical workings. I encourage you to read the book Spiritual Merchants, that talks about the growth of the occult industry in this country. And as usual, African Americans, black people, you know, we are less likely to get business loans. We are less likely to own property due to redlining and wage disparities. So it's a little bit harder for a black conjure worker to have a storefront. You know, unfortunately, I believe that a lot of things here are harder for us. But magic can help manifest. Magic works on creating opportunities and exploiting weaknesses. And so you have to know how to take opportunities, especially if you want to take one of my classes or be my student. As you can see, like I said, I deleted both of those videos because this camera froze up on Facebook. I wouldn't try to teach a class on Facebook with that camera because of that. So, you know, always be prepared. Always come with questions and do research. You know, magic is not something where I've learned everything A to Z. I get my degree and I bounce. That's not how this works. This is lifelong learning, okay? But I am a former college professor with a very short patience span for fuckery. So, you know, you can get mad at me if you want to, but hi, Mambo Yansa. But the reality of the matter is I have certain rules of conduct that people in my circle, people in my home, and people who take classes from me. I've been designing online education for almost 20 years. So I know the limitations and the downfalls. Right, they do. They favor the phone connections. At one time, you couldn't even broadcast live from your laptop. And it made it very difficult for me to create this message. But it's very important that you read if you're going to work with me. If you are going to book a divination session, you purchase it on the site first, then you book with the calendar, and the widget is there on each page for each divination. Same calendar. If you're going to take a class with me, do everything that you can to make sure that you are in a quiet area, preferably with a wired internet connection, because I've got an Ethernet cable that's connected to my laptop, and it froze a couple times during the class, but that's not really the software, it's the bandwidth. So as you know, as somebody that's charging for classes, I'm going to invest in a new router with some of y'all's tuition money, and maybe that will solve it. But like Xanthia said before, sometimes you can be in a country, and Ohio just has really bad wireless or even wired internet. But it can be disturbing to me in the class. And like if we got a mentoring session, I don't want you to be 15 minutes late because you just installed the software. Don't do that. You know, that's the type of thing that will, you know, because like I said, I don't think anybody here, you know, can tell if being an occult person in the occult has been an easy journey for you. Let me know, because I want to know how you did it. Because being a witch is complicated. It requires a tremendous amount of education. If you want to master anything, it requires education. So all those people screaming about book learning, yeah, it's called work for a reason. It's a combination of things. It's a combination of you doing the actual work. But before you even get there, you got to know what you're doing. And you can't just stop at one source. I encourage people who are taking my class to take Daisy's classes, take Rich's class, take anybody's classes that they're offering. Because, you know, everybody's going to have a different spin on things. Some things that you may agree with, some things that you may not agree with. But guess what? You will learn what resonates with you. You will also, the more information you have, nobody can put bullshit on you. Nobody can pull bullshit over your head if you are a student of the occult. And that's what we do. So, you know, I could teach something that somebody else says is bullarchy, and it is up to you as a student to look at the research, look at what the teacher's saying, look at what the other teacher's saying, and decipher on your own what's best for you. Magic is personal. All these spell books I have, I was telling them I love Judica Isles. This is the book of 5,000 spells. Even I talked to my Mambo about it. She was like, yeah, I respect her. She's done a lot of research. When I want to do a new spell, I don't go here and just pull out a spell and copy it word for word and do it. From the very beginning, I made my own spells, but I looked at what others were doing. That's how you learn this magic. I don't care if you got a grandma that taught you, or you found out everything in the books on the internet, or you watched YouTube. Some of them YouTube videos, y'all. It's funny, too, because I am always trying to up my game, right? Yeah, and I've heard Encyclopedia of Spirits. Oh, especially if you get a spirit dream and you don't know what that spirit is, you might be able to find that information in there. Concordances. There are just so many things that you can use in your practice. And then there is the matter of being spirit-led. Sometimes herbs and roots are going to do things for you that they don't do for anybody else. But you have to do the work. So for you to come and get a divination from me, or a mentoring session, or take a class from me, and you are unprepared, either technologically, because see, I always got a backup. Just like I deleted those 2 videos, I was willing to put the time in to go back over what I talked about before and do it from my phone, because Facebook prefers phones. I've got to do that. As a person who's charging tuition, I got to make sure that I'm ready for whatever contingency. Don't I tell you all that all the time, Rakia? Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, which is always dead. But anyways, that's another story for another time. But you got to have several plans in place. Hey, Milo, you got to have several plans in place when you are charging people money for something, and when you've paid money for something. So when you've paid your good, hard-earned kizash, have your ass to class on time. Be in a situation where you got the best connection possible. And if that connection is not working, just like I demonstrated for you earlier in the first 2 videos, you switch to something that you know works. I'd rather teach these classes from my phone than this $100 webcam that I bought, if it means I'm going to freeze the whole time. So we're going to try the new router, and we're going to see how that works. But anything is a combination of observation, study, and doing it. I don't care what it is, but magic is not going to learn itself. And so in order to get off the good foot with any mentor or teacher, make sure you're ready. I'm going to put this video probably on my website, so that, people understand what's required when you take a class. We got a real big thing coming up right now, you guys. I don't know if you've noticed, I didn't teach much last month because I just took some time off. But I've got a full class schedule for the hoodoo classes for this month. We'll be introducing more classes. I'm trying to get the eldest to learn more about crystals. Or I'll try to get Renetta Shadow to teach the crystal grid class again, and teach more crystal classes, and looking for people who are good at astrology and different things like that. I take a very small percentage from, because the administrative stuff and paying for the Zoom room, but the instructor receives most of the funds. 80 to 90% of the tuition they will receive. So if you guys are interested in teaching something, definitely let me know, because you can't learn in a vacuum. I take classes from many different people, but when it comes to like certain things like my spiritual life and my religion, I've got my mambo, who is a very, very technically astute occultist. She knows stuff that continues to blow my mind, and that is how I ended up initiating in her house, because she was the most well-versed in so many forms of the occult that I was just like, she says, when you got voodoo, you don't need nothing else. When you got the voodoo, the way she practices and the things that she knows, no, I really don't need to initiate anything else, because she has the ability to teach us so many things. And we use video conferencing because she's in Haiti. But, you got to show up ready to go. Your kids can't be screaming in the background. You got to be someplace quiet. You got to read the directions. You got to install the software. You got to be ready to go, or you're going to be asked to leave the class. And I had to do that for the first time tonight. And I'm just like, so, it's best to tell people ahead of time, and I do the best that I can to do that, than for them to be surprised when I'm irritated. Okay. So, and I forget, like, I missed Amanda's on here. I missed the magical mentoring session because the alarm didn't come up, and I took my ass to the grocery store. 9 times out of 10, that's usually what happens. If I miss an appointment, I'm at the grocery store. Well, you get up in there and you be trying to avoid all them crazy people, and you forget that you got shit to do, and you don't hear the alarms on your phone. So accidents happen. I'm prone to make them. But we really want to work to make sure that your learning experience is great, and you don't have to be my student. It's an honor if somebody wants me to tell them something. But at the same time, if you're gonna be my student, there's gonna be certain things that I'm gonna need you to do. And downloading software, chatting with a friend for 15 or 20 minutes way before class, just to make sure the stuff works, is better than you trying to get it to work. Because I know that there are several people sitting here on this call right now who have been in class with me, and there's been somebody and their shit's been fucked up, and we sitting there like, and it's making horrible feedback noises, all kinds of things. And it's the way things are now. Like I said, we didn't have websites and technology and stuff for Conjure work in the past. This is, within the last decade, this has all really popped up kind of strong. But keeping that in mind, anybody can teach a class. So, like I said, learn from several instructors. Get a very broad-based area of research, see how many different cultures and people think about the subject matter that you are interested in, so that you can pull from all of that and then develop your own specific things about your practice that are unique to you, so that you're not directly copying off somebody else, because that's not a spiritual connection. So, I've talked too much. I'm tired. My daughter's looking at me like, we supposed to be finishing these orders, bitch. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be hooking up this printer, bitch. And we just tired. So anyways, love you guys. Just be prepared. I've got 3 classes available that you can take: Hoodoo 101, 102, 103. You can save $25 if you book all 3. And that's for a limited time. That's for the month of January. If you want to take Hoodoo 201, please don't pay money before you get your divination, because not everybody should be my student. Not everybody should take this class from me. And then put your deposit down. Don't send me money. Tell me I want to take the class. That's not how this works. Read the text on the website. Find out what you need to do. If it doesn't work for you, if it comes off as funky, or you get a bad vibe from me, by all means, boo-boo, I would rather you feel that way before you spent your money than after you spent your money. Because at the bottom in the terms and conditions, all sales are final. Keeping that in mind, the month of November into December, not January, we've got the virtual Hoodoo 201. So you got to make sure your internet is on point. It's a $500 class. We will start the opening in November with my live 201 students. Okay. And then you will have a week or two. I can't remember. A week. You have a week to get your formulation to me. And you can, we'll have little touch bases during that week where I'll be available online if you have any questions. So then you will send me the list of your things that you want for your formulation, and we will send them out to you with all of the empty containers that you would have received when you showed up here on site. So you will be getting all of the oils, all of the herbs, and all the roots within reason, because there's some things that I don't carry or that I don't sell because of their rarity. So we'll have to talk about your list once you submit. We're taking 25 students. A couple of the spaces are already gone. Okay? So it's going to start in November. It's going to go through December. So instead of over a period of 3 days, we're really actually going over a period of 3 weeks or a month. We'll be doing an entire weekend of from noon to 8 in December for 2 days, where we are live, all going to work together and do the same things you would do as if you were here. But a lot of people can't travel, money-wise, disability-wise, kids, all of that. And that's all on my website. So just to make you aware of what type of teacher I am, I'm going to be giving this link to future students who book a class. just so people know what has to happen. Because as you can see, as from the other videos that I had to delete, it can cause a problem when technology doesn't work. So you want to make sure you're in the best position possible, and you're prepared for class, and you're ready to go. And I look forward to everybody. I thank everybody who's ever spent a dime on from my classes. I'm very happy you find them valuable. I'm continuing to try to find new things to teach you as I learn new things. And so this year, hopefully you will see from me the abandoning Christian guilt from your practice, that class. And that's probably going to be a couple of hours long as well, if not multiple sessions, because a lot of people need that class. Getting Christian guilt out of your magical practice. So that's one class I'm hoping to develop. I'll be at Witch Fest next weekend. We'll be doing Voodoo 101 and Spellcasting 101 for the newbies, so people understand the religion of voodoo and spellcasting and all of its ins and outs that you would want to know as a newbie. The book is called Spiritual Merchants, and it talks about the commercialization of magic in America and probably other places. I can't remember. I haven't read it in a long time. So you guys have a good night. Love, peace, Afro Grease. Stay black, stay moisturized, stay hydrated. Bye.